My name is Law Nation, and we are a little behind today, but we can still get it out. It appears that the Cowboys will be $9 million in the hole. As far as dead money, we don't know the actual salary cap number for 2021, but we do know that we have $9 million in dead money. Half of that, or a little bit over half of that, is coming from Travis Frederick's contract that we have to pay out. It's good that they split it up last year because it would have been more. I think upwards of 11 mil, something like that. So that's just the price of doing business. I think that this team, we really have to look at everything and be very, very mindful of these contracts on how we're going to operate. Now, I'm hearing a lot of noise. I'm hearing a lot of noise from Cowboys players saying, hey, we're going to be in the playoff next year, or basically this year, or this 2021 season, which is good. It's good to think positive, right? Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established. It's good to think like that, right? We gotta have a whole lot of changes in order for that to happen. Where are the whole lot of changes going to be at, Law? Well, first and foremost, it's going to have to be with management up top. Fish rots from their head down, right? I'm so tired of hearing, Law, do you pay Dak Prescott? Do you give him the long contract? Or do you take a real good look at Matthew Stafford? I'm hearing stories about Aaron Rodgers again, right? We hearing that storyline. So there's a lot of room. And at the end of the day, regardless of whether or not it's Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton, whoever, I'm still a Cowboys fan. We still love this team. I just want to root for the Cowboys. I'm tired of rooting for individual guys to get either their money, their contract, or what have you. We are at the mercy of the Joneses. They going to have to do something. And when you look at the playoff, you look at majority of those teams, yes, we can talk about the draft here and there, but the teams that's really moving and shaking are doing it via free agency and also trades. They're doing it in those factors. I believe that you can be good at drafting, but you got to be good in the other categories. You can't be good at drafting and poor in free agency. You can't be poor in free agency, you see, and thinking that you're going to make it far in this NFL. You got to be able to have your acquisition game on top. And I ain't talking about, man, we average at 5 from a scale of 1 to 10 on our acquisition game. No. Your acquisition game got to be at least at a 7 or better, 8, 9, 10. People looking at that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game and they giving all of the praises, which is rightfully so, to the quarterback, because that's just how the nature and the flow of things goes, right? The quarterback gets all of the praises and get all of the blame when you lose. But when you really dig deep into that Tampa Bay Buccaneers, acquisitions, free agency, wheeling and dealing helped them out in order for them to win. And when I was telling people that defense travel, a lot of people were not listening to what I was saying. There was a warm weather team that went all the way up north, made Aaron Rodgers run for his life, had that man on skates. Now, granted, you got to have a good quarterback to stabilize everything, and that's what I believe that a good quarterback can do. And one can argue and say, well, Tom Brady, he's not a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback, Law. He's the GOAT. Well, I'm not going to go back and forth with a lot of people. We can see with our eyes, right? We can see that the man had, 3 interceptions as well. But sometimes when that old broom been around that corner, he can get those corners. There's no betting against Tom Brady. The brother been to 18.5% of the Super Bowls. I think I saw a record out there from somebody on Twitter that's ever been played in the National Football League as it relates to as of 2021. Somebody may be watching this video in 2030 or what have you. But you guys get what I'm saying. Tom Brady, boy, oh boy. He's a legend. He's a GOAT. And it's hard to take a whole new franchise, a team that you never been on before, your first year ever, and you take them to the Super Bowl, and I'm hearing all of the people inboxing me, tweeting at me, right? Putting it all on my Facebook group. I like Facebook because you can post all type of emojis and pictures down below. YouTube need to figure out a way to do that as well. And all in my Instagram too. Oh, Tom Brady. He's already made it to the Super Bowl, and the Dallas Cowboys been waiting since 1996, right? To even get close to where Tom Brady at. On top of that, Tom Brady got more Super Bowls than the Cowboys franchise. Okay, I get it. It was like one of those situations. Either you allow to be shamed by the Green Bay Packers, or you allow to be shamed by Tom Brady. As a Cowboys fan, I guess the Patriots fans are going to look at it and be like, oh, wow, maybe it was Tom Brady, because I've seen and I heard some Patriot fans say, hey, it was all Bill Belichick, right? But I believe in the hearts of hearts, Bill Belichick for 2021 will have a better season than he had the previous year. And that's much to do about nothing, because it's Cowboys land. How can we improve ourselves? How can we improve this team? Free agency, acquisition, of course, you got to get something out of this draft. We can't be too draft heavy. Let me repeat, we cannot be too draft heavy. We got to draft wisely. There are rooms for us to improve. And going back to everything as far as this offseason, the offseason chatter will be about Ryan Dakota Prescott versus Matthew Stafford versus an Aaron Rodgers. You guys know how they go. And then you can sprinkle in the Andy Dalton theory, because somebody got a theory that Andy Dalton, if playing behind the perfect offensive line when everybody's healthy, he would do a better job. I heard stories like that. My thing is, Cowboy Nation, even if the Joneses do not believe in Dak Prescott, I would rather for them to rip the Band-Aid off and move on. Don't play with us like that. I'm so tired of going back and forth with Cowboys fans. I go back and forth more with Cowboys fans than any other fan base, because they keep coming and saying, well, he's not the one. He's not the chosen one. He's not the guy that can win in difficult situations. He's below 500 quarterback. He need everything around him to operate fine, or what have you. He need this, he need that. He's trash, right? And you can ignore them, but they come in droves and droves of, they getting all of their information from the Skip Bayless and the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. And they for sure will cry out and say, well, we are Cowboys fans too, and all of that, which is cool. But my thing is, what is Matthew Stafford, right? Do he need everything around him, right? It will be the same argument if we had Matthew Stafford. Some people, you cannot please them. You can never please them. You can't please them all, right? But here's the situation. In order for this team to go to places where we want them to go, it starts off at the top. It do. I still believe that the Chiefs would not won their first Super Bowl if they didn't make that acquisition to get a Honey Badger. I believe that was a free agency move or an acquisition with a trade from another guy that was on the front. When you look at the games, you can see flashes of the defense. The Buccaneers didn't allow was a guy named, not Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Jones, to run 4 touchdowns on them, looking like a reincarnation of Barry Sanders mixed with Emmitt Smith on the field at the same time. You guys remember that? You see, we got to figure things out. Oh, how did that happen? Okay, investment, putting big bodies inside. They didn't go out there and say, okay, let's bring in the Kmart special, the Dollar Tree deal. You shake the tree, you get I'm not going to say his name, but he wears number 99 for your mind. They didn't say let's usher him out there. The 99-cent special, right? Well, they didn't do that. We did. But we are expecting Look, what's the definition of insanity? Somebody help me out with that. Please post that down below. That is what we are expecting coming from our interior. Yes, we got some edge rushers that can get home occasionally, but it's not a dominating factor. And they have the audacity to say, hey, we're going to be in the playoff next year around this time, which I would say, yes, you can have those thoughts and those minds to come together, and there's something about positive thinking. But the reality is, we got to start from up top. They got to learn how to wheel and deal. They got to stop. Look, we bring in a guy off the streets. We got to stop it. We got to stop it from all of the networks of pumping and gassing that person up. And then when the real lights cut on, they fold up like a lawn chair, not able to execute the finality of the plan. That's all I'm saying. So regardless of whether or not we have $9 million in dead cap, right? It's not the end of the world. And regardless of whether or not they pay Dak Prescott or not, they need to do it sooner versus later. They need to draft well. They need to go into this free agency pool, bring in some people that's hungry, that's ready to play. We need to stop being all in the show me, glowy stadium and all of the marketing interviews, and just roll up all sleeves and play. Let me know of your thoughts. Let me know of your concerns. Post me your thoughts down below. If you have a mock draft scenario, put that down below. I love reading through all of the mock drafts. The Senior Bowl is right around the corner as well. Let me know which guys you really like out of the Senior Bowl. Well, those are things that we can do to see whether or not any of those guys will fall on the Dallas Cowboys team. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace.